Okay, this demonstration is for gravy, basic white, like country-style gravy for biscuits and gravy. I've never done one of these before, so it's the first time. So, what you need are, this is going to make enough for 2 people. You need 2 tablespoons of butter, about a 1/4 cup of flour, a cup of milk, and salt and pepper to taste, and garlic powder. I use about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, about a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt, maybe probably less than that, and then about, I don't know, at least a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. And you want your heat on. I like to cook on low heat, but medium low is fine. Heat your pan up. This pan is already preheated. Okay. So, first thing you do, put in your butter. It's going to sizzle because the pan's a little bit warm. And then you're going to sprinkle in your flour. You're going to need a whisk. That I usually start with just a wooden spoon. You might need a little bit more butter or a little bit more flour. Depending on the consistency, you want it to be like a thin, like a paste. This is a little thick. You're gonna add a little bit more butter. Let me turn this down a little bit. Alright, just keep stirring it up because you want it to cook a little bit, but you don't want to burn it. This, I can tell by the paste, this is going to make a pretty thick gravy. I probably won't even need to add the thickener, which I have already made up. It's a 1/4 cup of cold water and 2 tablespoons of flour, or you could use cornstarch. Stir that up. I'll show you how to use that if I need to use it. Okay, now you're going to stir constantly and pour in your milk. Oops. This probably will be enough for 2 people, but if you want to, if you have more coming over, you might, you can double it or triple it. I mean, it's a really simple recipe. My mother taught it to me. Alright. Now we're going to switch to the whisk. And you're just going to keep whisking it. You have to stir it constantly. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. A little bit higher. This is a really hot burner, and even on low, it'll boil things. I mean, it's really hot. And you have to stir it constantly. I've been lucky. It normally doesn't have any lumps in it, but I never leave it. I just stir it constantly, and that's probably what does the trick. And I usually add my seasoning, my salt and pepper, my garlic powder right towards the end, just so that it doesn't simmer out. Okay, keep stirring. Okay, it's thickening up already, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it is thickening up, so this is going to be done really quickly. Just keep stirring. Yeah, it's thickening up nice and perfect. Actually, it usually doesn't work this well. Usually I have to add thickener to it. Alright, so okay. So I'm going to add my seasonings. I'm going to turn this down as low as I can get it. It's probably a little bit too much garlic powder, but alright. Anyway, here we go. Just keep stirring. See how it's getting nice and thick? This video is for Sheryl. I don't think you'll be able to stand a spoon up in this, but it may be. It's thickening up a lot. Keep stirring. Okay. Yeah, this is almost done. And you want to taste it? It's just right, actually. The seasonings are good. I didn't use all of that. In this batch, I used maybe almost a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and maybe almost a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and it tastes pretty good. It's just right. I'm not going to add anything else to it. Okay. Now, okay, I'm going to turn this up a little bit just to. I'm going to show you, I'm going to thicken this actually. It probably won't need it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to turn this up a little tiny bit. Alright. Okay. This is, I'd use a little bit. The way I like it is a little bit thicker than this. Alright. So, to add the thickener, which again is a 1/4 cup of cold water and 2 tablespoons of either flour or cornstarch. And you mix it up, make sure the water is cold. And the reason this is kind of a brownish color is because it's wheat flour. Okay, make sure this is stirred up really good. And then you're going to add it. It has to be simmering. It has to be bubbles. And you'll see how thick it'll get really quick. Just stir, stir, stir. Keep stirring. Thanks. Should add it all, but a little bit more. There we go. Okay, depending on how thick you like it, I like mine a little bit thicker. If it's too thick at this point, you can add a little bit of milk to thin it out. If it's not thick enough, just mix up some cold water and a couple more tablespoons of flour. Bring it up to where it's a little bit bubbly, simmer, and add it to it. That's all you do. And this is done. Tastes just right. There we go. There it is. Country gravy for biscuits and gravy.